Welcome back to Newsy Live. I'm Veronica Dela Cruz. Great to see you today. It is now 1:30. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. Let's get to speed right now on some of the biggest stories that we are following at this hour. In New York, a judge just ordered former Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani to testify before a special grand jury in Georgia. It will happen on August 9th. The grand jury looking into whether the former president and others illegally tried to meddle in Georgia's election in November 2020. Giuliani is said to be a key figure in an effort to call the election a fraud. In Texas right now, the head of Uvalde Schools has recommended the school board fire embattled police chief Pete Arredondo. The board will hold a special meeting on Saturday to consider the recommendation. Arredondo was the police official in charge the day a gunman walked into Robb Elementary and killed 19 students and 2 teachers. He's been widely criticized for his leadership that day, as nearly 400 police officers waited for more than an hour to confront the gunman. Now to Washington and a live look right now at the nation's capital, where the Senate Judiciary Committee is holding another hearing on gun violence in America. Lawmakers are focusing on mass shootings and access to assault-style weapons. People from the Highland Park, Illinois, from there are in the audience right now following the 4th of July shooting that left 7 people dead. Highland Park Mayor Nancy Rotering was among the witnesses who testified before the committee. And right now in Florida, eyewitnesses to Parkland school shooting, they are testifying in a Fort Lauderdale courtroom. It is all part of the school shooter's penalty trial. A teacher took the stand describing the moments before the shooter killed one of her students, and a jury will decide whether the Parkland shooter should be executed or spend the rest of his life in prison. The father of a student killed in the Parkland shooting has been a prominent voice following the 2018 tragedy. Manuel Oliver has consistently fought for justice and more gun restrictions in our country, and he spoke with our friends on Newsy tonight about the trial and his stance on the death penalty.
Yes, I said that if there is a death penalty in our state, when are we going to use it if we don't use it this time, right? What is that death penalty for if it's not for this particular case where 17 innocent people died? With a total injustice situation. So I said that. Again, that's another thing that I will keep on saying. I think that even the death penalty won't be fair, because the way that Joaquin died was a very painful, sad, and injustice way.
Oliver also said he's tested positive for COVID and will not be in the courtroom this week. He hopes to join the other victims' families earlier next week. And there are new developments this hour in 3 high-profile shootings that we've been following for you. The first one in Akron, Ohio, where Jayland Walker's family and supporters are demanding more answers in his shooting death investigation. Police shot him on June 27th while he was trying to get away from an attempted traffic stop. The Akron Police Department will not release the names or other details about the 8 officers involved in that shooting. The police chief says it's important for investigators not to rush through the case. The parents of the accused Oxford High School shooter are fighting to get their case dismissed in the meantime. Their attorney filed an appeal arguing they never saw their son's journal or text messages describing mental illness. The prosecution argues the Crumbleys ignored the then 15-year-old's plea for help while giving him access to a gun. Last November, the accused shooter killed 4 students and injured more at the Michigan high school. A report from Texas lawmakers suggests frequent lockdowns may have contributed to the delayed police response at Robb Elementary in Uvalde. It's been almost 2 months now since a gunman walked into the school, killing 19 students, 2 teachers. According to school officials, Robb Elementary experienced nearly 50 security alerts and lockdowns between February and May. Most of them involved law enforcement chasing people who cross the border illegally. Investigators say the recurring lockdowns created a, quote, diminished sense of vigilance. Well, the families of mass shooting victims are upset with how lawmakers have handled gun violence in this country. This year alone, the Gun Violence Archive says it's taken the lives of more than 900 children and teens. Now, one group wants pro-NRA lawmakers to be reminded of those lives lost, and it's using more than 50 empty school buses to do it. National correspondent Lissa Jules has the details.
A convoy of buses made its way down the streets of Houston. At first glance, you might even mistake the mile-long row of yellow school buses for those you see every day, picking up and dropping off kids at school. But these buses serve a very different purpose. They stand as a dark reminder of children who never made it on the bus back home. It's called the NRA Children's Museum, a mobile museum of 52 empty school buses with 4,368 empty seats. Each seat represents a life lost to gun violence. On some seats, you'll find the picture and name of one of the kids, along with where they died. Alongside them, small keepsakes and reminders of full lives senselessly cut short. The artist behind the project, Manuel Oliver, knows the pain embodied in each empty seat. Each serves as a reminder of his son, Joaquin, who was killed in the Parkland shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018.
Joaquin was shot 4 times with an AR-15 almost 5 years ago.
A striking reminder of that AR-15 could be seen from the sky. Manuel and Patricia Oliver are the co-founders of Change the Ref, a gun reform organization using art to showcase the impact of mass shootings and call for legislative change. The Yellow Bus Project aims to call out the dozens of pro-gun lawmakers who receive support from the NRA. Manuel saying, in part, "We are showing American voters the toll these politicians have taken on our children's lives with this all-too-real archive." The convoy's route included a drive by the office of one of those pro-NRA senators, Ted Cruz. The convoy stopped to drop a letter about gun reform written by Joaquin. Manuel called on Senator Cruz to, quote, "start prioritizing kids over the NRA's money."
There's a business model in here. Our legislators are part of it. There's gun manufacturers and a gun industry that has the blessing of these people that are supposed to put a stop on this.
Some Democratic senators are of the same mind as Manuel.
Please, 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 damn it, put yourself in the shoes of these parents for once. Maybe that thought, putting yourself in the shoes of these parents instead of in the arms of the NRA, might let you wriggle free from the vice-like grip of the NRA.
As for Manuel, he says he has no plans of resting until the gun lobby does.
Every time you see a line of school buses, there's a big chance it's us with the Children's Museum. Because this museum is going to travel all around the nation. We won't stop here. This is just the first stage.
Maritza Giorgio, Newsy.
Well, Steve Dettelbach will help the Biden administration's mission to bring down gun violence in this country. Dettelbach has been sworn in to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The former U.S. attorney is stepping into the job at a crucial time as the nation deals with a pattern of mass shootings over the past few months. Dettelbach is the first confirmed permanent director of ATF since 2015. Still to come on Newsy Live, a Trump-backed candidate taking the Republican gubernatorial nomination in Maryland, but he doesn't know who he will be facing in November just yet. We'll explain why, but first.
What do we want?
Freedom!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Freedom!
When do we want it?
Congressional Democrats landing in handcuffs after staging a demonstration in support of abortion rights. We'll have the details when Newsy Live continues.